Good morning, fourth grade. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving break last week. I know I did. The week off was much needed, and I know it was for y'all too. All right, before Thanksgiving break, we ended chapter 5, so that means today we're starting chapter 6. And chapter 6 is starting to get a little crazy. We're doing fractions. Fractions are a little bit tough, but it's okay. We'll power through it, and you've got this. All right, so today we're going to start with equivalent fractions. Some words we need to know before we even get started are numerator, which is the top number in a fraction. So if I had the fraction 1/2, the numerator would be this number. The denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. So if I had 3/4, it would be this number. And equivalent fractions just means that the fractions show the same amount. So for example, 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to figure out if fractions are equivalent or not. Okay, so let's look here. I've got two of the exact same thing. We've got 5 boxes here and 5 boxes here. Now, if you look here, I've got one of these 5 boxes shaded in. So how would that look as a fraction if I had one box out of 5 shaded? Well, it would look like this. We would have 1 part of 5, okay? Because the denominator shows the whole amount, and the numerator shows the parts shaded in. Okay, so there is 1 part shaded in, but there are 5 parts total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of those is shaded in. Okay, now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to shade in this same box down here so that the pictures match. Go ahead and shade that in real quick. Shade, 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 shade. Okay, so we agree that these two look the exact same, right? Okay, but watch if I do this. What happens if I draw a line straight through the middle? How many boxes do I have total now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, so my denominator for this one is going to be 10 because I've got 10 total boxes because I drew a line through that. How many do I have shaded? Very good. 1 here and 1 here. I've got 2 boxes shaded. Now, those are going to be equivalent fractions because I did not change the size that I shaded. I still have this same square shaded. The only thing I did was I cut them in half, okay? So one way that I can compare to see if these are equivalent is I can write them side by side like this, 1/5 and 2/10. I'm gonna do something called the butterfly method, okay? All right. So what that means is I'm going to, let me get a different color here so it kind of stands out. I'm going to kind of make little butterfly wings like this, okay? What is 5 times 2? Very good, that is 10. So I'm gonna write a 10 right there up by that 2, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing. What is 10 times 1? Very good, it is 10 as well. And we always want to make sure that when we multiply, we put our numbers up top by the numerators. Okay, so now I look at the 2 products I got when I multiplied. Do 10 and 10, are they the same? Yes, which means that those fractions are equivalent. They are equal to each other. All right, so let's use the butterfly method and compare a couple more fractions to each other because we're not always going to have these pictures that give us the visual to say, hey, you know what? Those do look like they're the same size, so those are equivalent. Sometimes we're just going to have fractions that look like this, and we're going to have to figure out if they're equivalent on our own. All right, so let's go ahead and use the butterfly method to compare these 2 sets of fractions. Okay, so first thing I do when I do the butterfly method is I look first at my fractions. I've got 4/5 and 8/10. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my butterfly wings just like this. It's always diagonal from each other, okay? 5 times 8 is what? Very good, it is 40. Am I gonna write the 40 here by the 5 or here by my 8? Always by the numerator, very good. I'm gonna write my 40 right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. 4 times 10. Fourth grade, what is 4 times 10? Very good, it is 40, and I'm going to write that where? By the denominator or the numerator? Very good, by the numerator right here. Okay, I've got 40 and 40. So are these fractions equivalent or not equivalent? Very good, they are equivalent. So I'm going to put an equal sign right there in the middle. Very good. All right, let's look over here at my second example. I've got 1/5 compared to 4/10. Okay, first thing I always do is I'm going to go ahead and draw my butterfly wings, always across from each other like this. 5 times 4 gives me what, boys and girls? Very good, it does give me 20. Am I putting it by the 5 or by the 4? Very good, by the 4. The 20 is going to go right there, okay? And then I've got to multiply my other diagonals from each other. So I've got 1 times 10. Fourth grade, what's 1 times 10? Shout it out at me real loud. Very good, it is 10, and I'm going to put that right there by that numerator. Always on top by the numerators, never down here, okay? All right, so I've got 10 and I've got 20. Equivalent or not equivalent? Equivalent, not equivalent. Very good, not equivalent. So let me show you how that's going to look when it's not equivalent. We're still going to draw an equal sign, but we're going to draw a line through it like that, kind of like, no, not equal. All right, and that is it for today. Make sure you guys are always going back and checking your folders for any assignments that your teachers might give you. Remember that you can always come back and rewatch these videos if you need a refresher. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for some more math.